All right, so BC is set to remove the rental restrictions on strata units. Just wanted to hop on here and talk about, is this a good idea? Should we do this? I mean, they're gonna do it either way, but should we do this? And what are the long-term effects? I'm that Agent Kelly. I post about real estate investing in my local market of Vancouver, British Columbia. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So if you get any value or entertainment from these videos, all that I ask is that you thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get into it. All right, so this idea seems like a good idea on paper, and I'm neutral in this. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but one thing I do know is that the government shouldn't have any place in a free market. I truly believe, and this might be controversial and maybe I sound too much like a Republican here, but I truly believe that the free market always finds a way to even things out no matter what. An example of this would be in a free market, the price of lumber goes really, really high. Well, now all of these companies recognize that it's super profitable to harvest lumber. So all these new companies enter the space, and now there's an oversupply of lumber due to all of the new companies entering the space and providing that supply to the market, and then the price comes back down. That's just an example of how the free market works. And I just find that historically, anytime the government has interfered in the real estate market, except for maybe the stress test, that was a good idea, except for maybe that, they've pretty much always made things worse. Like if you even think about all of the taxes they've added in the last 6 years or whatever, prices have only gone up since they've done all that stuff. And even with this new cooling off period that's coming in, that's the stupidest thing ever in my opinion. I don't know how that's going to help anybody. Anyways, here's the pros of them getting rid of these rental restrictions. Number one, it's going to provide a ton of rental supply out there. So we may even see rents come down in the short term because of the oversupply of rent or the supply of rental units that are going to hit the market instantaneously when this comes into effect. So that's awesome for renters. The cons and what I could see happening over the long term is, for an example, let's just say, all these people rent these units, right? Well, 3 to 5 years from now, a lot of these renters would hope to become first-time homebuyers. Well, these units with rental restrictions are perfect for first-time homebuyers because a lot of them are older, early 2000s, 90s units, right in that starter home range. And as a first-time homebuyer, you're only competing with other end users, which right off the bat knocks out 25 to 50% of the buyer pool. You don't have to compete with investors that have deep pockets. You're competing likely with other first-time homebuyers and downsizers, right? So one of my best friends bought a unit that had rental restrictions in Langley last year in 2021. During every single unit that existed was getting 40 offers. And this one, he went in subject offer, subject to finance, subject to inspection, in the hottest market ever where everything was subject free. And he was able to buy his first home because that was a rental restricted unit. Well, in the short term, yes, this might push down rental prices, but in the long term, this might make it much more difficult for first-time home buyers to actually get in the market because now on a lot of these homes where they were not having to compete with investors and people with deep pockets, now they're going to be competing with investors for that inventory, right? I'm just thinking, I could be completely wrong. I'm just thinking, what are the potential downsides to this? Because everything, whatever that law is, every action has a reaction, right? That's the good side of it, that yes, it frees up rental supply, but I could also see it hurting renters in the long term. So I'm, I'm impartial. I don't know if this is good or bad, right? I mean, it may be good, it may be bad. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm always just a little bit hesitant whenever the government comes and puts in new regulations because it seems to always make the problem worse. I mean, just for an example, if we just let stratas do what they want and restrict the rentals, well, stratas would basically have to compete with each other, for, buyers to actually buy in their building to pay the strata fees, right? So if it wouldn't make sense for, every single strata to go and restrict rentals because some stratas are going to need investors to help pay for their strata fees, right? So I'm just spitballing here. I'm just throwing out some ideas. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. BC is set to, they haven't put it through yet. They're working on passing it, but it looks like it's going to pass. They're removing rental restrictions and age restrictions, except for 55 plus buildings, I believe. So stay tuned. Probably make another video on this later. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next one.